the roles of reason and faith in theological argument. So when I hear members of the Orthodox Church criticize, say, the papacy and ex cathedra doctrine, what they say makes perfect sense to me. They deploy reason, they have arguments of reason against the doctrine. But in other contexts, religions, including Orthodoxy, they're quite willing to invoke faith. And so we have faith in whatever. So is it reason or is it faith that determines when an argument from reason or an argument from faith is appropriate?
Reason.
Reason. So reason's the bottom line.
It has to be, because even if you choose faith, you're choosing to believe something for reasons. Even if you're not able to name those reasons to yourself, some sort of compelling rational intuition has worked upon you to say, well, I believe I can trust this source more than that source. So you may say that, oh, I'm having faith in what it's telling me, but you're having faith in that rather than something else, because at some level, maybe a tacit level that you'd have a hard time laying out, you've somehow reached the judgment, and it would have to be a rational judgment if your faith is of any meaning, that you trust this rather than that. So I would say that, but what is faith? I mean, when you create a sort of division between faith and reason, you're assuming that faith is taking things simply on the authority of another blindly. But that's never actually been the definition that any religion, I mean, whether you're talking in the West or whether you're talking about pistis in Greek or shraddha in Sanskrit or any number of other words for faith, it usually means a kind of rational commitment to a certain path for which you have reasons, but that those reasons in themselves don't necessarily arrive at a QED, but that as you advance on this path, more you're hoping, at least, things become clearer and clearer, and you understand better whether you really believe it or not. But you have to commit yourself to the path in order to find a way. The American philosopher William James spoke of the will to believe, and he's often misunderstood as if all he was saying was it's okay to choose arbitrarily to believe something. That's not what he said. What he said was when it's as if you're in the fog, say, and you encounter two paths, and you have a sense that one is more likely to lead to safety and the other to the edge of a cliff. You take that path, but you don't take it so credulously that you'll walk off the edge of a cliff if you come to the cliff. That the act of faith is a way of engaging the mind, engaging reason, so it can explore. If you don't start with some sort of trust, some sort of of the possibility of discovering the truth, then you never will seek the truth to begin with. But that search requires a kind of combination of a degree of rational judgment and a degree of trust, and you hope that the two prove to be in harmony. If they're not, though, if you reach a point where your faith and your reason come into conflict, then trust your reason. Always trust your reason, because otherwise faith is just epistemic nihilism. Sorry, pronouncing the word both ways today is just, it's meaningless. It's just a brute exertion of the will, at which point it's sub-rational and becomes contemptible. Always trust reason, but make sure that reason is tempered. It's not petty rationalism, but that it's a reason that really can see things in broad perspective and understand in a variety of modalities. Don't treat reason as if it's a math equation.